The Hollywood Studios restaurants are fired up and ready to find out which amongst them is the best restaurant of the park. And the only way to do that, with an ultimate restaurant showdown. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we are currently on the hunt for the best restaurants in Disney World. Today, our arena is Disney's Hollywood Studios, and the restaurants you're going to find here are very, very, very different. So expect a lot of off-the-wall matchups and probably a few upsets along the way too. Keep in mind that the winners for each round are going to be determined by the collective of the DFB team, and not just one or two of us, so you don't have to worry about any biased decisions pushing on a particular restaurant or snack stand further into the competition. Makes things way more fair and interesting that way, right? Oh, and by the way, if you don't see your favorite Hollywood Studios restaurant facing off in round 1, that means it has an automatic bye into round 2. Let the games begin. We're starting off today's battle inside Galaxy's Edge, which is a place where wonderfully weird and intergalactic food and drinks reside to both delight and frustrate your taste buds. Katsaka's Kettle is a snack stand situated in the Black Spire Marketplace strip, and this is where you're going to be able to pick up popcorn treats as well as the cold brew Black Calf made with Joffrey's cold brew and topped with sweet cream cheese and chocolate puffs. And the milk stand is where you're going to be able to pick up that infamous blue milk directly inspired by the Star Wars films, and green milk as well. Now, both of these snack stands have their flaws. The blue and green milk tend to split people 50-50. Some like these fruity and floral frosty blends of non-dairy coconut and rice milks, while others think that these taste way too much like perfume or the milky sludge in the end of your cereal bowl, but not in a good way. Meanwhile, Katsaka's Kettle is most famous for its Outpost mix, which I really couldn't care less for. I know though that my scriptwriter Bria stands at the opposite end of that spectrum and orders a bag of this stuff almost every time she goes because she likes this sweet and slightly spicy mix of flavors. The best thing really to order at Katsaka's is the cold brew Black Calf, but if you've been to Disneyland and have had it there first, you might be disappointed by the version in Hollywood Studios since it's not quite as sweet, at least according to our reporters. All in all, the deciding factor is going to have to tip, surprisingly enough, in the direction of novelty this time, because Star Wars fans are going to want to try blue and green milk at least once, just to mark it off their Star Wars bucket list. So the winner is the milk stand. Right off the bat, I want to point out that both of these quick service locations, ABC Commissary and Backlot Express, are solid. Backlot Express over in Echo Lake is going to have your more familiar lineup of theme park eats, along with a few more surprising adventurous options like the teriyaki tofu bowl and the Cuban sandwich. I know it's not really that adventurous, right? But ABC Commissary over on Commissary Lane has quite a few interesting and international inspired entrees, ranging from tacos to buffalo chicken grilled cheese to a new pork adobo dish made with soy and vinegar based pork served with steamed white rice, pickled onions, and a sesame cucumber salad. I think if you're wanting more adventurous without stepping too far out of your comfort zone, then ABC Commissary is your best option. It's actually DFB Bria's favorite quick service option in Hollywood Studios, just for the shrimp tacos alone. However, Backlot Express tends to have a few more options that appeal to both picky eaters and those looking for something beyond your average cheeseburger. Plus, the theming of Backlot Express is a whole lot better than what you're going to find at ABC Commissary, since Backlot is themed around a production warehouse, meaning you're going to find lots of unique props and paints and blueprints and tons of fun Easter eggs strewn about the dining areas. Backlot Express is taking the win here, but my hat still goes off to ABC Commissary for putting up a good fight, which I'm going to be honest, about 3 years ago, it wouldn't have. So winner, Backlot Express. Both of these little kiosks can be found right outside the entrance of Toy Story Land. You've got the Market and Neighborhood Bakery. And the best thing about both of them is that the Jack Jack's Num Num Cookie, or Jack Jack's Cookie Num Num, however they want to actually name it depending on where you are, is sold at both locations. This is a classic treat, but a surefire winner in our book every time. The Num Num Cookie is probably the most notable snack at either location, but the Market does have a few options like nachos and basic alcoholic beverages and a non-alcoholic pineapple coconut slushie. While the Neighborhood Bakery is a good option to get a buttered popcorn refill for your popcorn bucket, there's not a whole lot more to say about this place beyond that, so the Market's gonna win this round just for its extended variety. Winner, the Market. If it's a sweet tooth you're trying to satisfy, you're going to find a whole lot of luck at both Epic Eats and Trolley Car Cafe. Epic Eats is located in Echo Lake. This is your one-stop shop for all things funnel cake. They've even got loaded funnel cakes here too, topped with scoops of ice cream. Plus, depending on when you're visiting, you might find seasonal funnel cake options as well. Trolley Car Cafe over on Hollywood Boulevard is the park's Starbucks supplier. And while the Starbucks locations aren't always our favorite place to pop in and pick up a snack and beverage in the parks, especially since the crowds can be wild and a lot of the stuff they have there is the same stuff you're going to get at the Starbucks at home, this is the home of some pretty unique Disney World desserts, including my beloved carrot cake cookie. It's called the carrot cake whoopie pie nowadays, but I refuse to call it anything else. I've known it as a sandwich cookie for so long. While Epic Eats is a one-hit wonder in the dessert department, Trolley Car Cafe supplies not just one of my favorite Disney desserts of all time, but also items to offer like cinnamon rolls, breakfast sandwiches, seasonal cupcakes, pastries, and of course a full list of Starbucks drinks. So winner today is going to have to be Trolley Car Cafe, even if it's just for the carrot cake cookie. Sorry. In one corner, you got Batu's one and only quick service restaurant, Docking Bay 7. And in the other corner, you've got Hollywood Studios' one and only character dining experience, Hollywood and Vine. Docking Bay 7 is a pricier quick service, but it's still going to be a cheaper option for you versus a full-on character buffet over at Hollywood and Vine. The options at Docking Bay 7 take familiar theme park eats and give them a little intergalactic razzmatazz with unexpected additional ingredients and side options that make these entrees more adventurous, while still keeping things familiar for those who are more hesitant to try otherworldly cuisine. But at Hollywood and Vine, you've got character dining that's constantly switching up. For breakfast, you can dine with Disney Junior characters like Fancy Nancy and Vampirina and the like, and for lunch and dinner, the dining room switches up to become Minnie's seasonal dine. Depending on which season you're visiting the restaurant, determines what Minnie and friends are going to be wearing during your meal. Hollywood and Vine isn't necessarily our favorite buffet in Disney, but it does have something for everyone. So between the endless eats and one-on-one time with classic and rare characters alike, Hollywood and Vine is moving on to round 2. This matchup is a little painful. There's a good chance that whenever you're watching this, Pizza Rizzo is not even going to be an option on the table for you because Pizza Rizzo will be closing on June 8th, 2025 to start making way for the new Monsters Inc. land that's going to be taking over this area in the future. But you know what? Let's give good old Rizzo his time to shine one more time. Pizza Rizzo is a quick service that we've never really fallen in love with food-wise because the main name of the game here are those puffy personal pizzas. But the Muppets atmosphere tends to make up for it. There's lots of sight gags and fun elements throughout this two-story location, and in the past, it's always served as a great place to escape the crowds for us. Ice Cold Hydraulics is a newer snack kiosk for the park located not too terribly far away from Pizza Rizzo, and while it's got some unique snack items on the menu, like the candied painted cinnamon rolls and the savory bouncin' mini churros, the snacks tend to be pricey and not necessarily worth the splurge unless you're using a Disney Dining Plan snack credit for them. Pizza Rizzo, go ahead, take the win this time. You deserve a victory. One last time, take a bow. All right, you're going to find both of these food kiosks lined up down Sunset Boulevard, aka the strip of the park that leads you to Tower of Terror. But which one is really more worthy of your time and stomach space? Fairfax Fair might not have even come close to winning a battle like this at one point in time, but ever since they've brought out their savory waffle bowls, they've had an ace in the hole. Most of these waffle bowls come with a mashed potato base, huge thumbs up from the team right there, but there's also a plant-based soba noodle salad bowl that's tossed with veggies and Korean barbecue sauce. It's also an option for our vegetarian friends. Speaking of plant-based items though, Rosie's All-American Cafe has one of our favorite plant-based entrees in the park, the plant-based lobster roll, made with marinated hearts of palm in place of lobster meat. Not to mention, Rosie's also has a wider variety of quick service options than what Fairfax Fair can provide, including theme park staples like hot dogs and cheeseburgers and chicken nuggets. But in this situation, we gotta think about quality versus quantity, and the Fairfax Fair waffle bowls are a whole lot more memorable than anything you're gonna grab at Rosie's. The waffle bowls at Fairfax Fair take a lot of familiar flavors and stuff them into rather unique theme park offerings, which is why Rosie's is going to have to wave the white flag and let Fairfax advance in the competition. Winner, Fairfax Fair. Catalina Eddie's over on Sunset Boulevard, right next to Rosie's, has the personal puffy pizzas, much like Pizza Rizzo, while Dockside Diner at Echo Lake has loaded hot dogs right now, although it keeps switching up. It's hard to keep track. While Catalina Eddie's can shock us every now and again with a unique and tasty seasonal dessert, really the personal pizza menu here is nothing to write home about. The loaded hot dog options at Dockside Diner at least attempt to think outside the box entree-wise, giving hot dog fans a good variety to jazz up an otherwise standard ballpark work, eat. So winner on this one, although I wish I could have neither of them win, honestly, is Dockside Diner. This is an excellent matchup. It's the opposite of the last matchup. Baseline Tap House versus Oga's Cantina. Spirit versus spirit, bar versus bar. So this is going to be a tight competition. Baseline Tap House is located in Grand Avenue and has a lot going for it. It's got a rotating menu of beers. It's got some of the most affordable charcuterie options property-wide, and you don't need a reservation for this place. It's all first come, first served. But Oga's Cantina in Galaxy's Edge definitely wins when it comes to theming. During your time at this spaceport bar, you're going to become a fellow traveling bounty hunter looking for some respite away from your hard day's work of collecting loot and selling people out for cash. This is definitely more of a bar that the whole family's going to enjoy since there's a solid amount of both spirited and non-spirited drinks to choose from, all of which are served with an intergalactic twist. Oga's Cantina does require reservations, but there are times when you'll be able to walk up and get a last-minute seat. Or stand, because you're not necessarily going to sit at Oga's. Sometimes you just stand at the bar. Both Baseline and Oga's can get pretty crowded, especially toward the afternoon, but Oga's does have a 45-minute time limit, so you will have to skedaddle on out of there after your time's up to make room for other travelers passing through. For a while, Oga's really struggled in the snacks department, but it's recently improved with a few additions like a cheese roll and the thruster roasted bantha flatbread. Its Hapabore sampler, which we make fun of mercilessly, also received a major overhaul, which it desperately needed. That being said, I'd still order the California cheese and charcuterie plate for $13 at Baseline over the Hapabore sampler for $22 at Oga's any day of the week. But let's consider the whole package here. Oga's is immersive, the drinks are creative, and the snacks on offer aren't too shabby. When all is said and done, Oga's is much more of a must-see spot than Baseline is, since Baseline definitely spirits other bars and breweries that you might find back in your city's downtown. Winner, Oga's Cantina. It's a frozen treat showdown. So the gelato cart is located right outside Muppet Vision 3D. At least for now it is. I'll let you know where it moves once construction starts up in this area. And Hollywood Scoops is on Sunset Boulevard and more than likely isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The gelato cart always has 8 different flavors on offer with some more unique options usually available like the passion fruit orange guava or the pog sorbet and seasonal stuff too. While Hollywood Scoops has that classic hand-scooped ice cream along with seasonal over-the-top shakes. Now you're going to want to share those with a friend and take plenty of pictures with them in front of Tower of Terror. While both stops are going to more than satisfy your icy sweet treat cravings, if you miss out on the gelato cart, you can still always go over to Disney Springs and have an even wider selection of Vivli Il Gelato branded options to choose from via its flagship shop. So if you're trying to pick the more unique Hollywood Studios specific stop during your park day, Hollywood Scoops is where you're going to want to go. Winner is Hollywood Scoops. So you got picky eaters in your group. Go to Anaheim Produce in Sunset Boulevard. This is where you're going to find a market full of fairly basic snack items like churros and fruit and Mickey-shaped pretzels. But if you got a group that's willing to step outside their comfort zone to try a snack that's unique but still features familiar flavors, I must say that Ronto Roasters is probably my favorite place to grab a bite in Galaxy's Edge. Hands down. The Ronto wraps are basically the cosmic version of a hot dog, and you've got 3 different wrap options to choose from. The classic Ronto with grilled pork sausage and tangy slaw, the Zuki wrap with cucumber in place of the sausage, and creamy tahini sauce and chickpea slaw to go along with it. And the breakfast wrap, this is an option you can only get in the morning, and it features the sausage plus eggs and cheddar cheese. It's my favorite version. Honestly, you can get the stuff from Anaheim Produce almost anywhere else around property. You might even be able to find it at your local grocery store for a whole lot cheaper. But you're not going to find Ronto Roasters anywhere else. Well, except if you go to Disneyland and eat at the Ronto Roasters over there, but that still makes Ronto Roasters a pretty rare place to eat. So the winner is, of course, Ronto Roasters. KR&R is a food stand that's going to be a whole lot less busy than Woody's Lunchbox. You'll find it tucked away close to the Rock and Roller Coaster ride, offering a menu of various snacks, including sometimes mini corn dogs and mini churros. But there's a reason the lines can get so long at Woody's Lunchbox. And no, it's not just because it's situated right across the way from Slinky Dog Dash, though that might be one of the reasons. This is a snack stand that offers some of the most iconic Hollywood Studios snacks, like those tacho bowls and the Lunchbox tarts and the grilled 3-cheese sandwiches that go great with a side of creamy tomato soup. KR&R might be able to help feed you when you're in a hurry and don't want to wait around in a long physical line, but Woody's Lunchbox definitely has the better payoff. Winner, Woody's Lunchbox. We're going to be talking about a lot of Disney World snacks today, but if you want to find out even more and get the complimentary snack maps to help you track them down while you're there, go ahead and scan the QR code that you see on the screen now or head to disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks. And we're going to send you a free PDF of our favorite snacks across all 4 Disney World parks and where you can find them. Hollywood Brown Derby is now entering the ring because we are in round 2. This is Hollywood Studios' only signature restaurant, but really, you don't need another signature restaurant when the variety of apps and entrees and drinks and desserts switch up regularly to give you a slightly new experience every time you dine in this red carpet location. Well, except for the famous Cobb salad. That never changes and we don't want it to. Now, the milk stand is more for all the Star Wars fans out there. The drink is iconic, and if you want to jazz up your blue or green milk experience, you can always do that by adding some rum or tequila to your drink, or by adding some raspberry jelly and mini rainbow crunchy candies to make it a Tenu swirl crunchy cereal. I'm gonna have a whole lot more to talk about when it comes to the Hollywood Brown Derby later on, and while I always like to keep a kind of suspense vibe going on with these face-offs, is there any question who's winning this round? I mean, come on. Winner, Hollywood Brown Derby. All right, listen, the Num Num cookie from the market demands to be seen. This is a warm, crunchy, but gooey chocolate chip cookie tart that's going to be popular for anyone who loves a dense cookie right out of the oven. Honestly, we've enjoyed the Num Num cookie even more than Backlot's Wookiee cookie as of late, just because the Wookiee cookie went and changed its recipe on us and made it not as good as it once was. I still love it. What am I saying? I'm a big Wookiee cookie fan, no matter what it does, but Backlot Express still has the theming and the seating and the bigger menu. And best of all, it's got the biggest cup of plastic cheese you can tack onto any meal for just $1 more. Sorry, market, but the Num Num cookie just doesn't hold a candle against all of that. Winner, Backlot Express. Why, hello there, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. Glad you could make it here into our bracket round. Roundup Rodeo Barbecue is located in Toy Story Land, and it's a family-style dining experience that shrinks you down to the size of a toy and drops you into a colorful play set that Andy built himself, where no wall, floor, or ceiling tile is left undecorated. One of the biggest complaints that we have about Roundup Rodeo is the price, though, since most barbecue places around Disney World are set up as quick services, meaning you can get good barbecue for a whole lot cheaper elsewhere. That being said, at $49 per adult, this is still one of the more affordable all-you-care-to-enjoy restaurants on property, and the barbecue is pretty superb, though I'd happily fill up on the cheddar biscuits and sweet pepper jelly alone if we had no self-control. But we all do, right? Okay. While I'll probably visit Trolley Car Cafe in the coming years way more than I'll visit Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, just to stock up on my carrot cake cookie as often as possible, Trolley Car is severely lacking in a lot of things that Roundup provides, like over-the-top Disney theming, immersive restaurant interactions, and, like seating. Winner, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, though I understand if you disagree with me and want to have it out in the comments. I told y'all that we're not really big fans of the puffy pizzas served at Pizza Rizzo, but here's the thing. Pizza is pizza, and kiddos tend to love pizza in all its pizza-y glory. So even if you're not too keen on grabbing an order of za here, there are a couple other options you can choose from instead, like the meatballs, which is pretty good, or antipasto salad. They're decent, but I'd rather get decent food for $12 to $14 per adult instead of decent food for $63 per adult, like you'll have to pay for at Hollywood and Vine. And yet, Hollywood and Vine gives you the opportunity to meet a lot of favorite characters in one location, including Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, and Goofy. The character interactions, specifically for lunch and dinner, are great for both kids and adults and help you avoid having to stand in any character lines during the day to meet these classic members of the Disney squad. It's also important to note that this buffet offers a lot of variety beyond just a couple of puffy pizzas and a meatball sub. And the items on offer at Hollywood and Vine are also very kid-friendly. Let's not forget too, once Pizza Rizzo is no more, your kids will still have another puffy pizza option over at Catalina Eddie's if that's what they're craving. So, Pizza Rizzo, you've had a good run in today's competition and I guess in life, and we're gonna miss you and all your punny pizza goodness. Winner, Hollywood and Vine. A new challenger approaches. Sci-Fi Dine-In is a table service restaurant designed to look like a retro drive-in theater. During your meal, you're going to sit inside a convertible car that's pointed towards a movie screen that'll be playing lots of black and white, cheesy sci-fi film clips. The food here is okay. Sometimes I'd even say it's good, depending on the burger quality, but at its core, you're getting pretty run-of-the-mill diner-style food here, but it's not great diner-style food. It's pretty mass-produced diner-style food. That's kind of the vibe I get. You don't have anything quite as innovative as Fairfax Fair's savory waffle bowls here. And yet, I'd honestly feel weird if Sci-Fi Dine-In served anything other than mediocre diner-style food, because what are you usually going to find at a classic drive-in theater concession stand, right? Burgers and shakes and onion rings, the things that are served here. Is Sci-Fi Dine-In going to be a whole lot more expensive than the steak and shake dinner you got back home? Yes. But it's the ultra unique table service experience that really sets this restaurant apart from all the other restaurants on Disney property. This is immersion like Disney's not doing in any other restaurant. And while we sure do love the waffle bowls at Fairfax Fair, there's really no appealing theming of this little kiosk that's going to be able to compete with a full-on drive-in theater experience that you can find at Sci-Fi. So winner, Sci-Fi Dine-In. Dockside Diner is going to be the place you're going to want to hit up for more substantial eats, since it serves hot dog options like the bacon and macaroni hot dog, the California BLTA dog, and the pretzel dog. But when you book reservations for Oga's Cantina, let's be real here, you're not going there to have a substantial meal. You're going for the Star Wars vibes, for the droid DJ, and for the drinks that'll potentially make your tongue go numb for a few seconds. Looking at you, Fuzzy Tauntaun Cocktail. In short, you're going for the novelty of it. A word you've already heard me say in this video, and a word you're going to hear me say again, because that's what a lot of the Hollywood Studios restaurants have going for them: novelty. So if you want sustenance, like true sustenance, go to Dockside Diner. But if you want everything else, the theming, the fun cocktails, and the immersive appeal, the, air conditioning, you gotta go to Oga's. Winner, Oga's Cantina. We've got one more new competitor entering the game this round, and it's probably our most intimidating competitor so far in more than one way. 50's Primetime Cafe is a table service restaurant located over in Echo Lake. Now, this one's themed like a house that's been caught in a 1950s time capsule. You'll see bold patterns, lots of trinkets and tchotchkes lining the shelves, and even black and white tube TVs at select tables too. I'd recommend requesting one just in case a TV table is free for the taking during your next visit, because it's super fun to sit at those tables. And if that was the whole shtick of this place, I'd probably be more than chill with that. After all, the home-cooked eats are nice and comforting and worth the visit alone. However, that's not all that happens here. The servers are a big part of the novelty, there's that word again, of this place, because these servers treat you like family, for better or for worse. Usually for worse. Your servers are going to get on to you for having your elbows on the table or using your cell phone, or you might even be told to go stand in the corner for refusing to eat the rest of your vegetables. It's all fun and games, of course, but the low-key bullying might be overwhelming for some guests out there. That being said, if your group would rather observe the family shenanigans rather than be a direct part of them, you can always let your server know ahead of time that you'd prefer not to stand up in front of everyone and have to perform "I'm a little teapot." Yes, this has happened to several of our team members, and they were mortified. But you gotta give credit where credit is due. 50's Primetime is an experience and a half. It's got sass, it's got entertainment, it's got a whole lot of laughs. It's hard to bypass Hollywood scoops, though. After all, this is the only place in Hollywood Studios where you can get hand-scooped ice cream, right? Now, I am always down for getting a shake or scoop of ice cream over at Hollywood Scoops, but I'm sorry, I think I'd choose the PB&J milkshake served at 50's Primetime over the limited offerings found at Hollywood Scoops. So, vibes are gonna win out here despite the low-key bullying. Winner, 50's Primetime Cafe. By the way, don't forget to always order the fried chicken. Oh boy, okay, this matchup is the toughest matchup of round 2 by a long shot. I stand by what I said earlier. Ronto Roasters is my favorite place to grab a bite to eat inside Galaxy's Edge, hands down. Sure, the options here are fairly limited, but what's on offer is high quality and innovative, and a great option for either a hearty midday snack or a full-on meal for lunch. And don't forget, breakfast is my favorite thing here. But because the offerings here are so limited, it might not be all that popular with pickier eaters who don't want a sausage topped with a whole bunch of tangy slaw or lots of warm veggies tossed into a warm pita. Woody's Lunchbox, on the other hand, is great for kids and adults alike, because even though the food is pretty simple for the most part, there's a greater variety of it and it's well executed. Not to mention, adults can choose to order off the kids menu at Woody's Lunchbox for a more affordable price point, and yet they'll still receive the same entrees they'd normally find on the adults portion of the menu, just in a smaller quantity and with some extra sides. So winner, it's gotta be Woody's Lunchbox. After all, neither of these places has any AC, and that seems to be an important deciding factor for a lot of these matchups, right? Right. Okay, Woody's Lunchbox. Now, before we go to round 3, I just want to take this time to remind you all that this is for fun. So if your personal favorite Hollywood Studios restaurant has already been knocked out of the competition or is about to be knocked out, that doesn't mean your opinions about it are wrong. And B, I know we're going pretty quickly through all these restaurants for the sake of the game, but if you want to learn even more about these places, as well as all the restaurants in Disney World, go ahead and check out our DFB guide to Walt Disney World dining over at dfbstore.com. Make sure to type in code YouTube to save money on your guidebook purchase if you decide to support us by buying our guide. Okay, Backlot Express versus Hollywood Brown Derby. So the answer here is not whatever you're in the mood for. These are two very different restaurants, but they are two excellent restaurants. So over the years, Backlot Express has stepped up its game in the food department. Before, it had more of a focus on theme park staples, though I'm still all about the chicken tenders served here, and that's what I'm going to get every single time. But the more innovative options they've added to the menu, along with the classics, have already made this a solid choice for picky eaters and people who want a little something different than just your hockey puck burger. Backlot Express can get pretty packed though, especially around park lunch and dinner time. Like, please don't ever try to go get lunch here at noon. You will rethink all of your life choices. But the fact that you can mobile order your food and the fact that there's a whole lot of seating here does help with the crowds. The seating is a big win for Backlot Express because several of the quick services or snack stands inside Hollywood Studios either have very limited seating available, outdoor seating only, or no seating whatsoever. In the case of Hollywood Brown Derby, though, seating is decent, but this restaurant's popularity does cause the advanced dining reservations to book up pretty quickly for it. However, if you miss your window of opportunity to make reservations for this place, you can always try your luck at getting a first-come, first-served seat at the attached Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge, which will still give you the chance to order food and drinks off the restaurant's main menu, although you will be open to the elements. You are going to be sitting outside with umbrellas over you. Hollywood Brown Derby's cavernous ceilings and opulent chandeliers and celebrity caricatures adorning the walls create a dining room setting that's truly worthy of a big celebration, like a birthday or anniversary or baby moon or the like. And this might not be a fair comparison, but the quality of the food at Hollywood Brown Derby, of course, is going to run laps around what you're going to get at Backlot Express. But again, this is a signature restaurant we're talking about here, so we sure do hope that'd be the case. Another important thing to note is that Hollywood Brown Derby feels like the tangible version of a sigh of relief. While a lot of Hollywood studios can be back-to-back crowds and bottlenecked pathways and just chaos, Hollywood Brown Derby's dining room is quiet and relaxing, and it's a break from all the theme park insanity, which you're not quite gonna get over at Backlot. Backlot's still one of my favorite quick services Disney-wide, but when you put it up against a place like Hollywood Brown Derby, it's gonna have to step aside. It has no choice. Winner, Hollywood Brown Derby. Let's address the elephant in this Hollywood and Vine versus Roundup Rodeo Barbecue room. Roundup Rodeo Barbecue is not a character dining experience. You're not going to be able to meet Woody and Buzz and Jessie here, though the restaurant sure does feel like it could be a character dining experience, and maybe it should be. So if you're looking for an all-you-care-to-enjoy restaurant that does have the character meet and greet element, Hollywood and Vine is still your clear winner. Or is it? I mean, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue isn't exactly without character. Look at this place. It's covered with Toy Story characters. They just won't, come up and meet you at your table. Oh, and if you're searching for more of that immersive Disney dining element, then Roundup Rodeo Barbecue still has all that. During your meal, you might hear Sarge the Green Army Man shout out that Andy's coming, and when you do hear that, everyone in the restaurant, servers included, will all have to freeze in place. After all, the moment you step foot inside this restaurant, you become a fellow toy, and that means you've got to play the part. There's a high chance that your kiddo might enjoy dining at Roundup Rodeo even more than Hollywood and Vine. Not only is there a game element to this restaurant and the endless barbecue eats are pretty top notch, but if your kid is at all anxious about meeting Disney characters, this could be your character dining solution to that. You still get the immersive character atmosphere minus the meet and greet element, not to mention the price you'll pay for those bottomless eats at Roundup Rodeo will be a whole lot less than what you'll pay at Hollywood and Vine. And we like the barbecue food at Roundup better anyhow. A win-win, or I guess a win-loss. Winner, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. Oh ho ho, novelty experience versus novelty experience. Decisions. I think before we can decide on a winner for this one, this is Oga's Cantina versus Sci-Fi Dine-In, by the way, we got to talk about the main downside for both of these places. It's really, really hard to have a conversation with your group at either of them. And that might be more than okay with you. After all, when you're tired and hot and you've been spending all week with these people anyway, you might not have a whole lot of energy left to help carry on a conversation. But still, Oga's Cantina can be tricky because this place gets loud and crowded, and Sci-Fi Dine-In can be tricky because, well, you're sitting in a weird car and it's dark and you're not necessarily going to be facing one another during your meal unless you request one of the limited picnic-style tables located in the back of the restaurant, or you have a huge group and you happen to be seated at one of the cars that's actually like a table with a front and back, like, fender and hood. But here's the big difference between these two scenarios. Oga's Cantina is more overwhelming. This place is very cramped once you've got a whole lot of people shoved inside it, and there's a high chance you're not even going to be able to sit down during your visit. Most of Oga's Cantina takes place around the bar area, meaning you're going to be squished up against other strangers while you munch on your food and gulp down your space-themed drinks. But sci-fi dine-in is more cozy. Like, the reason you're not talking to each other is because you're in your own little convertible seat and you're comfortably watching the black and white previews playing on the screen. So from a comfort standpoint, you've got to give the win to sci-fi dine-in, though I'd still encourage you to check out Oga's at least once in your life, especially if you're a major Star Wars fan. So winner, sci-fi dine-in. You tell me, would you rather sweat during your meal or be yelled at? I'm kidding, sort of. Regardless, they're both still important parts to consider about each of these dining experiences, 50's Primetime and Woody's Lunchbox. So Woody's Lunchbox is going to be a whole lot less overstimulating from an immersion standpoint, but it'll be a whole lot more overstimulating in terms of keeping you out in the elements, in a section of the park that's already severely lacking in the shade department. In terms of food, neither one of these locations is overstimulating when it comes to flavors. Both have a variety of options that are good for all sorts of palates, just straight up comfort food, but they're especially good for those who want to play it safe. Yep, this really is a tight competition. I never really thought about comparing them before, and maybe I should have, but when it comes down to brass tacks, the winner is an upset this time because we're going to give it to 50's Primetime. I know DFB raves about all things tachos all the time, but the atmosphere surrounding 50's Primetime, along with its expansive menu of comfort food items like the cornbread skillet and that golden fried chicken, which I told you to always order, Grandpa Jean's chicken pot pie, and of course the PB&J milkshake, really make all the heckling worthwhile. Plus air conditioning, right? Okay, winner, 50's Primetime Cafe. I hate sweating. And we're heading into the semifinals. Who are you rooting for? Team Hollywood Brown Derby, Team Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, 50's Primetime Sci-Fi, or are you in neutral territory and any Disney food or snack makes you happy? If you don't really care what you're eating as long as you're in Disney World right now, then we've got a lot of snack and Disney food inspired t-shirts and sweatshirts and tanks and you name it over at dfbstore.com. I figure those are definitely going to give you a little dopamine boost if you go grab one of those, right? Now, let me know who you're rooting for down in the comments and let's get this semifinal round started. All right, Hollywood Brown Derby versus Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. Now, you might think this is a tough one. I don't really think it is. On the one hand, Hollywood Brown Derby is the obvious winner if you're planning a nice dinner date or you want to celebrate something special with your group of friends or family members. But on the other hand, Roundup Rodeo is the obvious winner if you're traveling with kids and you want to make sure they're entertained all meal long. So, are we at an impasse? Well, I think we have to go back to the barbecue argument that was brought up earlier. There are lots of places where you can chow down on really good barbecue around Disney World. There's Regal Eagle Smokehouse in Epcot, Flame Tree Barbecue in Animal Kingdom, Polite Pig in Disney Springs, and all of these are going to be way cheaper than what you're going to find at Roundup Rodeo. But when it comes to Hollywood Brown Derby, the rotating menu here is always surprising. Not surprising in quality because Hollywood Brown Derby sets the bar very high and meets it every time we're there, but surprising as in we still can't believe there are more ways to reinvent the wheel. Root beer brined pork, shepherd's pie with truffled mashed potatoes, prosciutto croquettes. It's fun to see and taste what this restaurant comes up with. If you miss out on Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, there's always another barbecue place for you to try, but if you miss out on Hollywood Brown Derby, you're missing out on a one-of-a-kind menu of high-end eats and little tiny copper derby hats that are lighting, and I love them. Winner, Hollywood Brown Derby. Okay, these are arguably two of the most immersive table service restaurants, not just in Hollywood Studios, but in Disney World, period. I always recommend to people that they have to go to at least one of these, 50's Primetime or Sci-Fi Dine-In, when they're in Disney World, because they are quintessentially the most Disney restaurants that Disney could be, at least in terms of Imagineering. And I think from an antisocial standpoint, the default winner is probably Sci-Fi Dine-In because the immersiveness here does not require you to partake in any embarrassing antics during your meal. Instead, the immersiveness happens around you, not to you. That being said, most people who book 50's Primetime Cafe have a pretty good idea of what they're getting themselves into. Not not everyone, but most folks, especially if you're watching our videos. Today, I've talked a lot about the server heckling being a point of contention here, but really, without that server interaction, the place wouldn't be nearly as desirable. The cast members are having a whole lot of fun here, and if you're willing to play along, then get ready for some major belly laughs, because this place is a hoot for everyone who's got a sense of humor and isn't a lifelong introvert like me. I also tend to prefer the food at 50's Primetime versus the food at Sci-Fi Dine-In too. Is the food at Primetime better by a long shot? No, at its best, it's simple and comforting and cozy. But I think just for the server interactions and the home-style cooking alone, I'm gonna go ahead and give the win to 50's Primetime Cafe. Though ask me about it tomorrow and I will probably change my mind. Oh, and don't forget, if you get a Primetime table with a tube TV, you'll still be able to watch black and white clips on the screen, so it's kind of like having a little slice of Sci-Fi Dine-In inside your 50's Primetime experience, right? Okay, 50's Primetime Cafe is the winner. We have made it to the finals. This is the finale, my friends. Who's taking home the trophy and the title of Best Restaurant in all of Hollywood Studios? Well, let's review. 50's Primetime Cafe is as novelty gets. It's as Imagineering as Imagineering gets. You get the servers that treat you like family. You get the dining room that looks like it's been taken out of a 1950s sitcom. You get the homestyle eats that are great for even the pickiest eaters, and the PB&J milkshake. Then, with Hollywood Brown Derby, you're stepping into a high-end restaurant that replicates the classic Hollywood landmark restaurant, and you get a peaceful dining experience. There's history preserved. Just take a look at those caricatures. You get an innovative menu of high quality, market-inspired eats, and you get the famous Cobb salad. But I think in a theme park where a lot of the restaurant experiences depend on their novelty setting to make them more worthwhile, Hollywood Brown Derby does something different. It takes the glitz and the glamour of Hollywood's golden age and wraps that passion into each of its courses, giving us not just the novelty of the dining room theming, but also the pleasure of enjoying a really high quality meal. You've got atmosphere, you've got ambiance, you've got exceptionally good food and service. The only thing you don't have with this one is your kids being entertained. So take that into consideration, but the big winner of today's Best Restaurant in Hollywood Studios competition is definitely Hollywood Brown Derby. Was there ever any doubt? We have had a blast making these Disney World restaurant bracket videos, and I hope you've enjoyed watching them and rooting for your favorite restaurants alongside us. If you haven't watched the other videos, what are you waiting for? Don't you want to know what the best restaurant in each of these parks is? And don't forget to download our free PDF of the best snacks in Disney World, which comes complete with those snack maps. It's totally free. You can get it over at disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.